Well, let me tell you something, brother.
Snort, snort, snort.
Kogan. Drip.
Snort, snort.
I got the drip. Go. I hope we get more attendance. I don't know what's going on today. I'm taking a look, and on YouTube, the attendance is pathetic. I don't know what's going on. Maybe it's just a YouTube thing, because I just noticed that we just fluctuated and lost a whole bunch of viewers out of nowhere, so maybe it is a YouTube thing. Hopefully you guys aren't having technical issues. It's nothing on my end. Everything looks good, and hopefully you guys are here to sit back and enjoy. Also, this morning, Capcom released game sales numbers and reported huge sales surges, giant profits, success across the board. But wait a minute. According to the industry gurus and big wigs, I thought that gaming was down. I thought the bubble had burst. I mean, Phil Spencer himself of Xbox said, oh, we're seeing a gaming decline and the game sales just aren't like they used to be. So then why is Capcom so successful? We're going to take a look at their game franchises and their sales numbers. We'll try to see if we can figure this out. In reality, I actually don't think it's that hard to figure out if you have a brain between these ears, if you have like a functioning, intelligent organ in your head. It's not rocket science. But apparently the people who are running most of these game companies today just aren't very fucking smart. Okay, so this should be a good show, and I hope that you guys are chilling, relaxed, and ready for a nice one. Maybe an all-multiplayer day. Supportive Support says you could do Black Ops, you could do the Mortal Kombat collection. See, I would say, all right, but, just two games? Maybe it could work. You split it up. See, here's the other factor that we have to bring into consideration here. The Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection comes out tomorrow. We're going to talk about that because that's part of my gaming schedule for the week. There's no guarantee this collection is going to be good, is going to work well, and people are going to want to play it. It might be dead in a week. And I hope it's not. Like, no exaggeration. I want it to be good. I want the collection to work well. I want the collection to have competition online and be fun to play. But it could literally be a dead collection. It's being made by the same people who have made other collections in the past. No crossplay. Previous games that came out from this company did not have all the proper online features for them to actually have longevity. Basically, people would buy their collections, play them for a month or two, and then drop them immediately because they said, this sucks. I don't know what's going to happen with this collection at all. Also, you got to factor in, the games in this collection are incredibly old. You're talking Mortal Kombat 1, 2, 3, Ultimate 3, 4, and Trilogy. These games haven't been actively competitively played in a very long time, and anyone who does play them competitively probably is a holdover from the 90s, who, you know what I'm saying? Like, Jason Wilson is about to have a field day. For those who don't know, Jason Wilson was a, back in the day, really good old school Mortal Kombat player. He also was a very good Street Fighter player. Later on, he ended up running tournaments and even having his own arcade. Okay, so he basically was one of the best old school Mortal Kombat players of all time. At one point, I think he had like the record for winning most tournaments in like Mortal Kombat 2. And he single-handedly proved that game can only be played with two characters competitively. He's like Mr. Old School Mortal Kombat, right? So guys like him, he's going to have a ball with this collection for like a day. And then probably no one's going to play it anymore. That's what I mean. Like, I would love to say, hey, let's keep this collection in the rotation as a regular thing, but I don't know if it's even going to work. If they had said, oh, there's cross-play and all these cool features, I would be like, oh, excellent. But they didn't say that. Kind of stupid. I wish they did. So let's see what happens. That's a good idea, though. Like, maybe all multiplayer. My problem there is that, sadly, I just don't think there's enough consistent multiplayer games right now to maybe do an all multiplayer day. Like, you said, Call of Duty. Yes. A segment of Call of Duty would work. The Mortal Kombat collection. Okay. If the Mortal Kombat collection is still working and has an active player base, then sure. But what else? Battlefield, forget. Battlefield, I stopped playing after 3 sessions. No one cares about Battlefield unless you're this really hardcore team-based player and you're grinding away for a league or you're in a team or something, it doesn't matter. Casual play of that game is never going to work because I can't even interact with you guys. It's too intense. It has too much attention that it demands, and the matches are way too long. I don't even get to talk with you guys when I play Battlefield. The game is dead on arrival for me. I'm not saying it's dead on arrival for every creator, but for my style of content, it doesn't work. Okay? So, what else? Right? Like, what else could we possibly do for that day? Are there other multiplayer games you think that would be interesting? I don't know of them. You know what I'm saying? Abdullah here, 28 months as a member, says, are you getting Kirby Air Riders? Well, we were just talking about that. I don't think so. Why? Because Kirby Air Riders is primarily meant to be a game you play online against others racing. Number one, both Mario Kart World and Sonic Racing Cross Worlds did not work for my content. People within a few streams found them boring. To be honest, the only reason that Mario Kart World lasted as long as it did was because of the trolling. I feel like if people weren't trolling me when I played it, it wouldn't have lasted a month. Okay? Kirby Air Riders lasted 3 streams, and people were bored to tears and said, stop playing, or maybe it was 4 streams. So, number one, I don't believe that racing games like that are going to work for my content. People don't like them. Number two, my internet doesn't work properly on my Switch 2. The Ethernet doesn't work. So without being able to have an Ethernet connection for internet, it's going to be laggy, and there's no way I'm going to be able to play the online play anyway. So, sadly, it makes no sense. Sucks. I wish that my Switch hadn't had an issue, but this is the second console in a row I bought from Nintendo that's fucked up. My Switch 1 bricked itself overnight with me doing nothing wrong. My Switch 2 has its Ethernet not working when it sat there for 2 months untouched, not even used. Garbage. It sounds to me like their manufacturing quality has gone way the hell down, is what it sounds like. Wow. I received, ladies and gentlemen, an incredibly generous $100 tip. $100 tip. So, let's talk about Monday. Let's talk about the Wings of Redemption interview that happened right here on the Level 1 podcast. First of all, that podcast obviously did incredibly well views-wise. We had, at one point, over 1,000 viewers between Kick and YouTube watching live at once. And as you know, I rarely break 1,000 viewers ever these days. Like, for gameplay, like, never. But if I do a special event, an interview or whatever, it's very rare when I would do that, and we did. We had over 1,000 viewers, which was awesome. The interview itself with Wings lasted about 2 hours, and we covered a wide variety of topics, including a little bit of our history and similarity being YouTubers around the same time frame and the levels of things that have happened to us over the years, including trolling, but also how we dealt with places like Machinima, YouTube, Twitch, and more. We talked about gaming in general, Battlefield particularly, which is the game that Wings has been playing recently. We talked about how I feel that Wings sadly gets baited by a lot of his viewers and or even moderators into giving clip farming content. I tried to give him some advice about his streams and about his health. He talked to me about things like WWE champions and pro wrestling and things like that. And overall, I think it was a pretty good interview. Oh, I actually feel like, in regards to that interview, okay, unlike other interviews where I had to like prepare for them and I had to go into them with like set stuff, that interview, outside of me just watching a few detractor videos about Wings ahead of time, and you might say, well, why did you do that? Because it gave me an idea of what the current public perception is of Wings of Redemption. If I hadn't done that, I would be going in blind and not knowing what people are talking about, how they're perceiving him, and I wouldn't know how to help him, right? By knowing what people are saying about this guy, by watching a few detractor videos, it allowed me to figure out, hey, this is what's going on with this guy and what people are saying, so maybe we can get around that or help him with some things that are going negative for him, right? And I think it went well in that regard. I think like that interview, 2 hours, okay? It went like this. Like, it didn't feel like 2 hours. It felt like 20 minutes. It felt like we had just sat down to talk, and 2 hours had passed. And to be honest, I think it would have even gone longer, but I told him I wanted to do 2 hours. I didn't want the interview to go on forever. And I want to give you guys a taste of what that kind of an interview could be to see if you liked it. What if I had done it and everyone said, oh, this sucked ass? Well, then I didn't want to go any longer. The thing is, you also don't want to give too much in one go. If people really liked what they saw, then you're going to want more. You're going to ask for more. And then I can plan on, working on giving you more. So that interview, for the record, okay, so far over 14,000 views in climbing. Hasn't even been live for 2 days yet, and that's a great viewership for something on this channel. All right, so that's excellent. And thank you guys who have watched it and checked it out. It is, by the way, it's available pure archive on demand. I just left the stream as is. I didn't do anything. You can just watch it right now and enjoy it for what it is, archived on the channel. You don't have to look for videos that I saved and split up. It's just all right there, and you can watch it and enjoy it, okay? So, in general, what's the feedback that I'm receiving? I'll be honest with you, overwhelmingly positive. Okay? Overwhelmingly positive feedback. People are saying, best interview you've ever done. We want more. You could basically do a series like this where it's very worthwhile for everyone watching. Because, for example, I could just do another interview with Wings where it's just us talking again, and we just hit upon various topics or whatever. Or we could actually do something that's basically targeted. Maybe we have a set topic or topics that we want to talk about that we can both add something to from our unique perspectives or our unique takes on that topic, okay? So that's interesting because I think shooting from the hip, just talking about whatever worked, but also we could actually have targeted discussion about important things too. It could be anything. It could be about the gaming industry. It could be about content creation, Twitch or YouTube, whatever, right? It could really be about anything, right? So that's cool that I got that feedback. Now, the other feedback I got is, oh, you could do a whole bunch of stuff. You could do gaming and stuff too. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think that the gaming aspect would even work. And if you want to know why, it's because, as I've been saying recently, audiences want to tune into streams where the streamer themselves can be an interactive part of it and interact with those who are watching and supporting. If I'm on a stream with Wings of Redemption and we're playing a game together like Battlefield, guess what we're going to be doing the entire time? Communicating and talking about Battlefield and playing Battlefield. We're not going to be reading our chats. We're not going to be doing shout outs. We're not, you know what I'm saying? We're not going to be paying any attention to you. Instead, it's just going to be us interacting to try to win. And that's really not where content creation succeeds for guys like us in 2025. I'm just going to be honest. That's what I tried to relay to him in the interview. You're trying to play Battlefield and you're grinding like it's 10, 15 years ago. And like your audience cares if you're a top level player. They don't. People are not tuning into a Wings of Redemption stream or a DSP gaming stream to see us be top level players in anything. Okay? They're tuning in because they want to see us have a good time, interact with an audience, right? And have that level of a little bit of social interaction, but at the same time put out something entertaining. It's not going to be being hardcore dedicated to whatever we're playing anymore. Like, to be honest, like maybe there was a time ages ago where if I grinded in Street Fighter and I did really well, people would care. And maybe there was a time ages ago if Wings grinded so hard in FPS games, people would care. But I just don't think that that's the case anymore. In the case of, say, for example, Call of Duty, right? I think that Call of Duty works because it's fast-paced action, it's shorter matches, you can play it in various different ways and be successful. Like one match, you could go all melee build, running around stabbing and getting all the buffs and bonuses. Next match, you can just snipe. Next match, you go with an LMG. Next match, all shotties. And it actually works. It's entertaining in that regard. It's a challenge and stuff. But also, I could be talking with you guys, interacting with you. It's not like that with Battlefield. You know what I'm saying? And same thing, if I was trying to do teaming up with him and playing, I don't think that would work. But I think what we did, the show where you hang out, you talk about various topics, whether it's targeted or not, that's what people kind of want to see. Because that's not what you see. What do you see every day when you're tuning into me? Me talking about topics, playing games, and interacting with you. What do you not see? Me interacting with somebody else. So give people what they want because it's not the common thing, right? But I think the key here, this is my perspective now, is to not do it often. Don't do it 10 times a week. Don't even do it once a week. Do it every once in a while. Maybe every once in a while you say, hey, I get together with Wings and we sit down and we do a show that's just a, shoot the shit show and see how people like it. Okay? Now, you might say, what is Wings' take on this? I have no idea. He told me he liked the show. He liked doing it. Since then, I tried asking his opinion and stuff, and he hasn't really said much. Basically, at first, he was like, just so you know, I don't really like talking via chatting like this behind the scene. I just don't like that. And I was like, well, that's fine. If that's the case, I'd like to talk to you to get your thoughts about how it went. What are your viewers saying about how it went? Did they like it? Has it benefited you on your own streams? Are you getting anything positive out of having done this? Whether it's just we chat on Discord or we chat on XDMs or we have a call. I just want his feedback, his actual reaction to what happened. So far, I haven't gotten it. I've asked and I haven't really gotten a response. But I think that's par for the course for Wings. That's how he is. He literally brushes you off. He puts it off. Then maybe he'll respond in 5 days. You know what I mean? I have no idea. Okay. So I guess we'll see. So let's find out when I finally get a response. Okay. Personally, like I said, I think doing stuff every once in a while with him might work. I don't think that doing stuff regularly, it's going to work at all, right? Okay, so let's see what happens. I'll let you know. But I'd still like your feedback on what did you think? Did you like it? And do you want to see more? Like maybe every once in a while we have a show together where we just sit down and we talk. There's a special edition of the Level 1 podcast with Wings as a guest, and we just get caught up on what's going on with him, and we talk about various topics and go from there, right? Because this is the thing. A lot of people are saying it's not, just understand, it's not, this is not something new. Like, this is how he is. He isn't regularly available. He doesn't respond a lot. But then all of a sudden he'll get excited, and then all of a sudden the excitement will die out again. Again, I don't know the guy. You guys know him way better than I do. If that's the case, then I guess that makes sense. And go from there. So I don't know. But I enjoyed, let me put it this way. I enjoyed doing it. I would do it again. I just don't want to do it all the time. It's just like other things that I tried this year. Smart Guys was working until it became a weekly thing and too common, and it got boring. Building Legos was working until we got to the third major Lego build, and it got boring, right? So to do something like this every once in a while, I think it would go well as long as it's not too often. The thing is, you need buy-in. And it's funny because I will directly answer something that was asked to me after Wings had left. Someone asked me the question, Bill, would you ever start to do something regularly with Jordy? Would you consider doing a regular show with Jordy? Like I even said, you know what is catchy to me? Wings and the King. I don't know why that's catchy, but like I think Wings and the King, that sounds like a good name for a show, doesn't it? I don't know. Maybe I'm just stupid, but I thought that sounded pretty catchy. And I was like, that could be a good show where it's just us hanging out every once in a while. Wings and the King, right? But there is one big factor, the big elephant in the room, okay? There's a reason why I can't really or don't want to even consider committing to anything like that. And here's what it is. At the very end of the interview with Wings, I asked him the question, are you done with Lolcow Live? And his answer was, I'm done with it now, but I might go back to it if I need the money. To which case, I just got to shake my head and be like, well, if that's the case, then how could I ever commit to do something with Wings? Because at any moment, he could decide he's not making enough money. And because of that, he could just turn tail and run and say, I'm done with this. I'm done with the show with you because we're not making enough. I got to go back to what makes me money, acting like a complete clown on myself and going back to Keemstar. And I don't want to put myself in a position where I put time, effort, money, and other things into a show. The show is successful, but he still decides that he wants to run away and go back to Lolcow to make bank and this leaves me high and dry. I hope that makes sense to you guys, that I wouldn't want to do that. You know what I mean? Plus, as you know, I don't like to overpromise and underdeliver. I don't want to say to you guys, oh, yeah, this is a great idea. Let's start up a show. And then the show gets canceled because he wants to go back to Keemstar. All right? So, I understand Swaggy P says, well, he just doesn't want to close the door on easy money. I totally understand that. And listen, the way that he explained it to me, all right, made sense. Here's what he told me in the interview, okay? He said, basically, because he did what he did for the year and a half, he degraded himself, he embarrassed himself, he publicly made a spectacle of himself, he made enough money that now he has security where he could take time away to figure out what he wants to do. He wants to build his channel back up to be self-sufficient. Right now it's not, but he has the time to work on it. If he didn't have the lolcow money, he wouldn't have been able to do that. And now I kind of get that. He even said something I respect him for a lot. He said, I don't want to be the guy that as I get older, because I have all these health problems, now I got to go to the government and I have to live off government funding and government assistance to pay for everything. I want to be able to support my family myself. And that's what that lolcow money was for, was to be that nest egg that he can draw upon to pay for himself as he gets older and has health problems, and his wife has health problems and everything, so he doesn't have to go on government assistance. Okay? 1,000,000%. All right? 1,000,000%. I understand that. Okay? 1,000,000%. I can't even argue with that. I can't dispute it. I can't. I get it. To him, it didn't matter that he embarrassed himself and degraded himself and lowered himself and made him look like a clown, because he made the money that it helps his family. All right? I get that. I guess I'm happy that I'm in a life position and a work position where I don't have to do that, and I'm still successful. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could be in the situation he was in, but I'm not. And I'm grateful for that you guys come by and engage and support with my content enough that I'm not having to be a clown somewhere in order to try to make ends meet. In fact, I'm doing better right now than I have been doing in many, many, many years. And it's doing what I want to do. The content I want to do, not self-deprecating, embarrassing bullshit that's for fucking morons, but instead gameplay, hangout sessions, social interactions, meaningful content. Okay? That's excellent. So again, every day I want you to understand how grateful I am to all of you for allowing me to do what I love for a living, for letting me live the dream. Things are going well right now. Okay? Thank you for that. Okay? But basically, yeah, like that, what gets me is I wish that Wings could be in a position where he could say, you know, I really don't want to go back to lolcow, and I'm never going to. But he can't. He's afraid that at any moment, the rug can be pulled out from under him and he's just not making enough money on his channel. And then he has to go back to lolcow. So, I don't know. I'm trying to help him. I gave him advice. I said, dude, you got to stop playing Battlefield. You tell you right now, your audience is not going to support it. What does he do? He went right back to playing Battlefield. He's been playing it for 2 straight days, and his streams aren't doing well. I'm just being honest. Like, I think one stream he made like $60, then he made like $90, and then one stream he made like nothing. It's like, you're playing Battlefield. You're just talking with your group. No one on chat is engaged. No one's going to care. I think he'll probably do better when he goes back to Call of Duty in a 2.5 weeks or so. I think then he'll do better. But right now, playing Battlefield ain't it. You know what I'm saying? Buckwell says, you're not in a position to give advice. Buckwell, my streams do well. I hit my goals. I exceed my goals. I'm doing way better than he is on his streams. I'm in a great position to give advice because I'm where he wants to be doing content. If he could be doing what I'm doing right now on his gameplay streams, he'd be ecstatic. So what the fuck are you talking about? In what realm of reality do you think I'm doing poorly? Please explain how you think I'm doing poorly for myself right now. Dude, Yesterday, I sat here for 3.5 hours just shooting the shit with my audience, playing Pokemon. And I made almost $400 playing Pokemon. The point is, my content is working, his isn't, and I'm trying to help him. But he has to also be willing to want to listen to help. And I don't think that right now, I don't think that he thinks that anything that I told him is going to really help him, honestly. Maybe I'm wrong, but I know what he's doing ain't working with the Battlefield stuff. I know that for a fact. He needs to change it up and do something different. He's doing Dark Souls streams, and he calls them depression streams. And he makes more money on that than he does playing Battlefield. Okay. So why are you playing Battlefield? There you go. Anyway. I liked how it went on Monday. Everyone else seems to be of the consensus. They like how it went on Monday. I agree with all of you. But you have to understand that basically he's not the kind of guy that's going to jump at something like that. He's very slow to even respond to stuff. I'm hoping to hear feedback from him to say, hey, either he liked it or he really hated it or whatever it is. I want to hear feedback from him. He seemed to be very positive on Monday, but sometimes this guy's attitude also changes after the fact. There's been times where he was happy about one thing, then a few days later, I regret I ever did it. Maybe he'll regret doing it. I don't know. But I'd love to hear more feedback from you guys on what you think. And I would absolutely consider doing something else for him in the future, just not often, because I don't want it to become so common that it's not special anymore. The reason that worked is because it was a first time ever thing, right? Here we go. Okay. So that's that. Let's see what happens. I would love to do more, but let's see what happens. I mean, he has to actually want to respond, and we'll go from there. Okay? Before we get to that, there's one thing we have to talk about. Support. What is going on with support? Right now, we have a $100 tip and a small tip and a few kicks. What is going on? Let's get some support right now. Let's get some subs on Kick right now. Let's get some kicks on Kick. Let's get some super chats. We have no super chats today. 0. No memberships? Well, you think because one person was generous, that means, we just forget it. We don't have to support. No! Let's get some support right now for the Level 1 podcast. Let's hit that. Excuse me, I'm exploding. Let's hit that goal. Let's get support for the podcast, support for Silksong. Let's get it rallying right now. Let's go. I'm serious. Let's hit it. I want to see the first super chat of the day right now. Let's go. Let's get our first sub of the day right now. Let's get that momentum moving in the right direction. People are spilling kicks all over the floor over on Kick. They're dropping their pennies on the floor, which cannot be counted towards the goals, but is still appreciated because it does add up and actually helps. Come on, let's go. Come on, who's going to be our first super chatter of the day on YouTube? Who's it going to be? Let's get it. Right now, let's see the first person to do a super chat and get on that leaderboard. And who's going to be our first sub of the day over on Kick? Yes, 100 kicks gets you on the leaderboard. We already put someone on the leaderboard for that. Supportive support. But in order to get a pop-up or be counted, it has to be 100 kicks or more. Single kicks, I'm not going to count. It's ridiculous. I can't even tally the single kicks. There's no way to even do that right now, which is really, I wish there was. I don't know why there isn't, but, Okay, so we're not going to get anything, huh? No, we're going to get no super chats. We're going to get no subs. We're going to get no kicks. Nothing. But don't make me do it. All right. Very nice. Now we're up to 110. Let's hit that goal by the end of this podcast. Let's hit the goal. By the way, that would help me make up for last night with what happened with Ninja Gaiden 4, which we'll talk about in a second, okay? Because this is the next topic. So now down to the last one that we got to talk about, Ninja Gaiden 4. All right. Out of all the games that I'm currently playing in the current rotation, I'll admit Ninja Gaiden 4 right now for me is by far the most repetitive and grindy game. Why? Literally, the whole game is combat. Yeah, there's some platforming in there, but it's really an afterthought to break up combat segments. But it's literally just brutal, gory combat, combos. Every once in a while, a parry or a dodge, combos. Okay. I do feel that the pacing of the game is a little off. For example, we found these cliffs. Okay, we're on these cliffs. We have to scale the cliffs. It took like 4 in-game hours to scale the cliffs. Like, what? Why? That's way too long. At most, the cliff should have been like an hour. But no, they really drew it out. You get to the top of the cliffs, then you get thrown to the bottom of the cliffs, then you have to climb the cliffs again. Too many fucking cliffs. I'm bored of this cliff area, okay? And the way the game works, once you complete a major area, you get a new weapon. So first we started with dual swords. That was the whole first area of the game. Then we got a lance, but the lance was for the entire cliffs segment. And because of that, it took so long to beat the cliffs, it felt boring using the lance after a while. Now, we did unlock a new weapon. It's this bow staff, but also it turns into a hammer. It seems all right, but honestly, it seems like it does less damage than the lance did. So it's a little disappointing because it's like good for crowd control. But at the same time, it's kind of like, dude, you have to hit enemies a zillion times for them to die. And these are normal enemies. You know what I mean? So I'm going to be honest. The game is getting repetitive. The game's getting a little boring. I played Ninja Gaiden 2 Black earlier in the year. I actually think that was less boring. I actually think this game, maybe they tried to emulate the games of over 10 years ago. Because Ninja Gaiden, there hasn't been a new Ninja Gaiden since Ninja Gaiden 3, and that was over 10 years ago. So obviously this team is trying, can we do what the previous teams did? Well, they're trying, and I'm not saying they're doing a bad job, but it's actually getting boring and repetitive. So last night, I'm playing it, and I'm advancing. It's not like I'm stuck and I'm raging, but I'm advancing, and I'm noticing the chat's starting to get a little bit less interested. People are starting to talk less about the game. Doesn't seem to be that exciting anymore. I agree. It feels like the game's more of a slog at this point. Now, I don't know what the game's going to pick up, and there's going to be more interesting locations and more weapons and things. But right now, it's just kind of, it's so much fucking combat. It's so combat heavy. And that's all the game seems to be. It's just constantly just fucking mashing buttons and beating the shit out of stuff. And how long will that survive in a 2025 playthrough? So here's the thing. We did have a bad and slow night last night when it came to support. We didn't necessarily have a bad or slow night when it came to actual like attendance or engagement, but the support was bad. We only made like $50, you know? I made more on this podcast right now. I actually made double what I made last night during an entire gameplay stream of Ninja Gaiden 4. So again, stands to reason, times when we're hanging out and having good interactions and social fun like this versus the times when I'm on a stream like that. And, oh, by the way, we should be at 3 out of 10 goals, not 2. That's incorrect. Because, let me think about this. Because we did hit a goal for Truck Sim on Monday night. So that was goal number 1 hit, right? And then we hit 2 goals yesterday for Pokemon. We should be at 3 out of 10. I'm glad I just noticed my mistake. I certainly don't want to cheat you guys out of, out of the correct amount of support goals hit. So there you go. We fixed it. So anyway, yeah, I don't know what to do about Ninja Gaiden 4. The thing is, that was the first stream that didn't do so well. So what I'd like to do is give it another chance. And we will play Ninja Gaiden 4 again on a late stream next week. Now, if the next time we play Ninja Gaiden 4, the whole audience is complaining the game is boring and we don't get a support, I'm probably just going to drop it. All right. And that's unfortunate. But I think the thing is, maybe it's a game that's just more fun to play than to watch. The action is so nonstop. It's hard for me to interact with you guys much because it's just constant combat. But it is feeling very grindy and repetitive at this point. And we're what? Like maybe a third into the game. We're at chapter 9 of 19. Okay. So if the pacing stays the same way it's been, as of now, the playthrough's around 8 hours long. So you're talking, this is going to be at least 20 hours. So it's going to be many more streams to beat it. Do I want to commit to that if people don't like it? Let's see what happens next week. All right, let's give it another shot. I don't want to be one of these, hey, the one stream that went poorly, now we cancel it. All right, but is it a one-off bad luck night or is it a pattern? Let's find out. All right, so next week we will play Ninja Gaiden 4 again. Anyway, so all day Friday, Halloween Marathon. Great opportunity to come by, just hang out with me all day long, chill, have a good time, say hello, watch me play a horror game or two, support the stream. I'm really hoping, honestly, that on Friday, we can get a rallying of kick support and we can actually get back some of these subs that I've lost. Because I lost a tremendous amount of subs over the 2 days that I had off. We did make a few of those back, but now the momentum has sputtered again. And now we're in a situation where we're going back down again because I'm not getting consistent sub support on Kick. So, again, if you're watching on Kick, please support the stream. Can we get our first sub of the day? Right now, can someone on Kick support the stream other than doing the blah, blah, blah kitty emote, which is very cute, or doing a moral support nonsensical contribution that doesn't count? And can we get someone on Kick to give us our first sub of the day right now? Let's go. First sub of the day. Who's going to do it right now? What's up, Filipino? How you doing? King Michael, how are you? Good to see you. See what I mean? This is what happened last night when I was playing Ninja Gaiden 4. So everyone basically was spamming either emotes or these moral support messages, and almost no one supported the stream. So that's why we had a bad night on Ninja Gaiden 4. I mean, you're watching, you're there, you're engaged, but you don't want to support. Well, then you're not going to get the things you want. Like, I was being nice yesterday when I brought back the moral support messages. I said, I'm going to do everyone on Kick a favor. Since I've gotten Kick support, I'm going to add these messages back because people are saying they want them back. Do people reciprocate? No. No, not at all. So let's do it. Right now, let's get together and let's rally. Let's get some kicks. Let's get some subs over on Kick right now. Let's get another super chat on YouTube. How about another tip? I mean, I got a giant tip. How about another tip? Or how about this? How about our first membership of the day? Because we don't have any members on YouTube right now today. Can we get our first official membership of the day on the stream? Let's rally some final support here for the podcast. I'll be honest, guys. I was going to have a story about Capcom. I just don't think we have time to do it. Thank you so much. That's $3 of support. We're up to 123. Like I said, let's hit this goal by the end of the podcast. We're only 27 away from hitting the goal here on the stream. Let's go. Like I said, if we could get our first sub of the day or some kicks over on Kick, we'd be right there. So how about you guys stop dragging your feet? You stop spamming the blah, blah, blah emote. You stop spamming your moral support. And instead, you open your dang wallets and you support the content right now. Let's get our first support of Kick right now. Now. This very moment. Not tomorrow. Not later today on the late stream. Not during Silk Song. Not when I'm out taking a shit during my break. Right now. Let's go.
I got the drip going. 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 It's like a faucet that's dripping. You can't make it stop. So what do you want me to do? Have a mute button that every second I'm tapping the mute button just in case I'm gonna have to clear? Like, this is what I mean. These dumb kids. This is what it is. It's dumb kids.